welcome to the Colonel and Mr. Bigg podcast. This is our 19th podcast. Man, we're just strolling along and having fun and having a good time. This week almost didn't come to you. Colonel and myself's been ill this week, and this goddamn Midwestern weather, I think, is part of it. It's 80 one day and 30 the next day. How you feeling today, Colonel?
Little better. Sunday night, I could feel something coming on. We came home from state basketball. I probably touched somebody's dingus and some doorknob or something down in Madison. And I've just been, from my nose on up, my eyes have burned and a lot of congestion, but feeling better today.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it and talk some sports. We got a lot of sports to talk about, and we'll cover that first, and we'll get into all other things that we know about and care about. And let's talk about Wisconsin sports first of all. You said you were in the state championships this last weekend. How'd that go?
Yeah, good. First of all, there were three private, there's always the debate about private and public schools playing in the same tournament. So this year there were three private schools that stayed in 17 public, but still out of the 5 divisions, 2 private schools won it. Wisconsin Lutheran, they had Mr. Basketball on their team, Xavier Zenz, and 2 of the Knippel brothers. Con plays for Charlotte, and 3 of his brothers are on Wisconsin Lutheran. And they tore into Madison Memorial and beat them handily. So they were the D1 champions. They're ranked number 8 in the nation, Wisconsin Lutheran.
How many brothers are there?
A very good
How many
club.
brothers are there?
4
How many
four
brothers
total.
are there? How many Kneppel brothers?
Yeah.
How many
4.
Kneppel brothers
There's 4
are there?
total.
4. I didn't hear you say, okay, 4. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. So 2 of them start, Cager and Kingston, and then the younger one came off the bench. He just played because they were so far ahead. In D2, Division II, Whitefish Bay beat Slinger. In D3, another private school won Racine St. Catherine's over Seymour, the team we were rooting for. In Division IV, Milwaukee Juneau, they've got a kid going to Gonzaga. They won their game in D4, and in D5, Reedsville beat Southwestern. It was probably the best game. It's Reedsville's first championship in 80 years. The coach was in tears, and a great story, and I'm glad for either one of those teams. If they would have won, would have been fine, but it's pretty cool to see Reedsville win. But I wanted to talk real quick about D4, Milwaukee Juneau. These kids could have knocked off the D1 team. They were that good. And here's a D4 team, Tommy. D4 coming out of Milwaukee. I think that is ridiculous. So, but
yeah,
they won.
How many? Well, they must not have many students. Is it a private school?
I thought it was, but Jacob told me it's a public school. I guess it's a Montessori school, so very small. But, they recruit the best that they can find in Milwaukee, bring it to that small school and play in D4. But again, these 5 starters, they could have knocked off a D1 team. They were that good. They were just unbelievable. So it's too bad it's come to that.
The attendance pretty
well.
What
it is. So
was the
it was pretty good crowds.
Attended pretty well.
Yeah, the crowds were pretty good. Yep. Can you hear me?
The thing is too. I think the high school teams are probably recruiting just like the college teams do anymore.
Absolutely. Yep. So it's always tough for a D5 school like Royal. When you're pulling from Kendall and Elroy and Glendale to have a championship team, but that's the way it is nowadays. So how about down your way?
Well, the boys high school state starts this week, so nothing locally is going on. There's several good teams playing, and I haven't followed them real close, but there's several D1 prospects playing in those teams, and but we're getting ready for. Of course, we'll talk about NCAA tournament, but Purdue's a big deal down here, and everything Purdue's going on down here in Indiana, so. We're pretty excited about that, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Purdue did win, as you guys saw this last weekend. They won their NCAA tournament. They went to the Sweet 16. They'll play Texas tonight. But I want to talk briefly about Braden Smith, and it's just amazing what this kid has done in the 4 years that he's been at Purdue. He's now at 1,083 assists. which is now, 7 more than Bobby Hurley, and, I would think, even tonight, I doubt if he gets there, but if they do win tonight, he has a chance to get 1,100 assists, which is just unheard of, and here's this kid they list at 6 foot, and he's probably 5'10" in high heels. He's not that tall, so it's, but if you watch him play, it's just amazing, the how he's able to get the ball to his teammates in the right spot so they can score, and it's just, I just enjoy watching him play, and it's, throughout the years, he's gotten better and better every year, and, so tonight will be a tough game, but, Purdue takes on Texas. We'll talk about the NCAA tournament in a minute, but, we'll go back to your place. Let's talk about the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about that Badger defeat. We hadn't had a chance to talk about that yet and what's going on there. And you've always said if they have a good season and go to the NCAA tournament, and even if they get beat the first game, it's been a successful season. So,
That's what
uh,
the fans say. I don't. I wanted Guard gone for forever, and a lot of people are calling for his head now, but they'll extend his
yeah, I
contract
saw
and probably
something
give
that
him a
you never know
raise.
about fake AI, but I saw something that they really looking into him, and this time it could possibly happen. But I saw the other day that he makes $3.8 million a year. I mean, that's crazy.
Yep. And I picked High Point to beat him in my bracket. I knew they would
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, but,
every year.
the ba yep, the Badger women, though, did win another hockey, NCAA tournament. They knocked off the number 1 seed, Ohio State, and, man, that team just keeps rocking and rocking, and even though the basketball team's not doing well, there's other team at the University of Wisconsin that are doing well, and, you kinda anticipate this every year when they're in the hockey, NCAA finals.
I think I saw, Tom, where the last 9 years have been between Wisconsin and Ohio State. One of those 2 teams have won it. I think that's the
Probably
way it
is,
is.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's kinda amazing at Ohio State. I can see how Wisconsin would get a lot of hockey players, but Ohio State is kinda, but, recruiting in hockey probably just like anything else, the way it's going, there's some NIL money there, and you go up to Canada and get some kids, and, I'm sure it's just the same as the other goes, so,
Yep.
but, also
Yep.
back here in Indiana, Notre Dame women are in Sweet 16. They didn't have a really good year, but they got this Hannah Adalk, which is a guard. She's a senior. She's, tremendous. I don't know if they'll go any further, but it's pretty exciting that they did get into the Sweet 16, and, she's fun to watch. She's kind of the Braden Smith of, women's basketball, the way she passes the ball and does everything else, and, so that's been pretty exciting to watch, down here anyway, around here. We're talking down here that hopefully Purdue will win the NCAA basketball finals, and so then we got an all Indiana football and basketball. It'd be kinda unique to
That'd be
that it would
crazy.
happen,
Yeah.
and, Coach Painter just won his 500th victory. That's quite of an accomplishment too when you think about it, 500 victories at one school. It's just, well, not at one school, but I mean 500 victories in NCAA, but, he's a good coach, and, he recruits well, and he doesn't, they use the portal, but not to the extent that a lot of other teams do, and they've been very successful at it, and I think there was 21 kids, in this year's, NCAA that, stayed 4 years at one school, and they had 3 of them. So,
Nice.
that's quite an accomplishment for them, so,
Did I ever tell you
you
I
wanna
walked
talk about
into
the, Lambeau naming rights. Is there something going on there that I didn't read about?
Yeah, real quick though with Painter, did I ever tell you that I walked into the 9/11 memorial probably, I don't know, 15 years ago with him, walked right alongside of him as we were entering. And I said, "Hey, I've got a point guard for you." And he goes, "Yeah, who's that?" And I said, "My son." And that kind of ended that conversation. He just kept walking. But yeah, the Lambeau Field naming rights. So I've been reading that because the Packers are, publicly owned by the fans, that they lose out on millions and millions of dollars of naming rights that other stadiums have. For example, Dallas being AT&T Stadium and so on and so forth. So they're looking at possibly naming Lambeau Field, and some of the names I've seen are like Culver's or Quick Trip or Farm and Fleet at Lambeau Field. So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure they will do that because it's more money in their pocket. It's kind of sad that those names are leaving, but I'm sure they'll keep it in some way, shape, or manner. But still, it's probably going to be the Culver's Stadium at Lambeau Field or some bullshit like that. So we'll see what happens down the road.
Yeah, they almost have to do that, with the money that's involved. I mean, if you wanna stay competitive with the other teams in the league, it's kinda crazy how much those teams pay for those naming rights. It's amazing. Like, I think Lucas Oil State, I wanna say it was $100,000,000. I don't know if it was that much or not, but I think it was $100,000,000 for 10 years.
Maybe
Yeah,
Carbless
they're
will sponsor it.
yeah, yeah, who knows? You never know. I mean, that certainly would get I mean, I don't know what his, manufacturing capacity is though now. He's doing pretty well right now. Uh but if you do that, you probably are gonna have to build some more plants just to keep up with the
Yeah.
production, so
Yep. Yeah.
well, let's
So
talk briefly about the NCAA tournament. We got that starting. The Sweet 16 starts tonight, and we got, Purdue playing Texas tonight, and, what's the second game? I don't know if I got it right here in front of me. I think I
I've
pulled it
got
off.
Iowa,
Iowa, Nebraska.
Nebraska. Yep. And then afterwards it's Arizona, Arkansas, and Houston, Illinois.
So some big games tonight, really, when you think about it. I
Huge.
mean, it's,
Yeah.
6 Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16. Uh, realistically, tonight, you could have, you actually if Illinois beats Houston, and Iowa, either one of those wins, you got a Big Ten 2 Big Ten teams playing each other in the Elite 8, which would be crazy, but,
That'd be cool.
I mean, I think,
I really
I don't know, I would think before Iowa beat Florida, I would think Nebraska be able to beat them. But, man, Iowa looked pretty good against Florida, so I don't know about that.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Purdue, but I'm really, interested in watching the Iowa-Nebraska game. So I think Iowa, the way they've been playing is pretty cool too that, I can't think of his name, but the one player from Spain, his mother, finally got to see him play, and he hits the game, the game winner to
Oh,
put him
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Illinois, they say Illinois Houston will be the best game. I don't know, Illinois has all these European players. He must have a connection over there that he goes gets them. Because I mean, at any point in time, there'll be 5 people in there that the announcers can't even say their names. I mean, it's kinda crazy, but, I mean, I like, Calvin Sampson. I think he got screwed when he was here at Indiana, but, and just think about this, he got let go because he made illegal phone calls to recruits. I mean, this was
Stupid.
15 years ago or 20 years
Yeah.
ago, but just think what's going on today, and he got let go because of that back in the day. It was kinda crazy, but, and then,
And then
tomorrow, I mean, we got some really
tomorrow.
great games. We got Arizona, Arkansas, which, I don't Ar if at guard at Arkansas, Arizona's tough, but, that guard at Arkansas can, win a game, I believe. And then Michigan, Alabama. I mean, Alabama shoots the 3 like nobody, but, I probably see Michigan winning that game. I see Arizona winning, and I see Iowa State beating Tennessee. I think Iowa State's too tough to not, to beat Tennessee. But then you got a Purdue, Arizona. I don't know Purdue. Think Purdue might run up against somebody they're not gonna be able to beat, but, you never know. I mean, like somebody said the other day, and you get down to the point where you got these 16 teams, any one team can beat another team, I think, on any given
Yep.
night. So it's just
Yep.
an exciting time of the year, and, the Final Four will be here in Indianapolis, next weekend. Actually, next weekend in Indianapolis, what an unbelievable weekend of basketball. The Division II, Division III, the NIT, and the NCAA Division I, all championships are in Indianapolis.
That's crazy. Think of the
All the
money that's
same
coming
week
in.
all the same weekend. I mean, just think of the fans.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, just, the
Yeah.
economic impact on Indianapolis is gonna be unbelievable.
Crazy. You better stay away from Indianapolis.
Yeah, I don't plan on going down there, although I wouldn't mind going seeing the Division II or Division III championships. I think that'd be kinda exciting just to I mean, I'm not gonna be able to afford to go to Division I. I mean, I think the lowest ticket now in the upper deck's $1,200, so which is
Jeez.
crazy, but
It's unreal. I'll stay home.
yeah, I'll
Yep.
stay home and watch it on TV, but,
Yep.
well, our first
So
sponsor today is, of course, our regular sponsor we've had forever, all 19 podcasts, and that's, healthypreludes.com outside of Elroy, Wisconsin. Anna Smart's the owner, and, she does a fantastic job with that, and, with the warm weather coming on today, I wanna talk about natural sunscreen, SPF 30, UVA, and UVB. All I can tell you about this has limited ingredients, natural sunscreen, and moisturizer. Says apply 30 minutes before going into the sun. Again, it's SPF 30. It's infused of calendula flowers and 100% ground frankincense resin. It's got some zinc oxides. She puts some scents in there like frankincense and mint. It's safe for all ages. DI water, coconut oil, mango butter, emulsifying wax, stearic acid, and 100% pure essential oil. So this is an item, and I think you and Jill bought some for your trip to Phoenix, didn't you?
Yep, we did. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I
So
got it right here.
healthyprelude.com, again, this is just one of the many items, probably over 100, maybe 200 items on there, but, you can go to healthyprelude.com or the shitsthebomb.com and, just look on there, all the products that's on there. It's just, amazing how many products she has on there, and, she's a great lady, and, I'm sure that, whatever products you get and buy that you'll be happy with, so, check that out.
Everything we've purchased from her is excellent. We love her product and it's natural, so definitely good stuff. So,
We wanna go
whole little
into I call it politics. That's politics. We wanna talk about politics, but, I guess the first thing, and that's very prevalent, is a couple things prevalent, but, I guess we'll talk about the Iran debacle, what's going on over there, and, uh, Trump has given an ultimatum, and again, you are the expert in this, you probably know more about it than I do, but, it sounds like, if they don't come to the table this time, that we're gonna start hitting their oil refineries and knock them completely out, so
Yeah, their power grids too. So I know he gave, like you said, an ultimatum today, and we'll see what happens there. The big thing is the Strait of Hormuz, and the Iranians. And the little bit I know about it is, the Strait's a very narrow area, and it's very difficult, if almost impossible, for our ships to enter that area just because of the size. And if the Iranians, who they've got different weapon systems along the coastline, and then small watercraft with weapon systems on it. And so, everyone's up in arms. They're hearing about the Marines and possibly the 82nd Airborne going in, and some people are up in arms about that. But I believe what we need to do is, I know the Marines are on the USS Tripoli right now, and if the 82nd Airborne goes in, I think their job is going to be to clear out those land masses along the sides of the Strait of Hormuz and make it open for the ships to get through. Because, like I've read, if even one ship gets hit and is blown up, no one's going to insure those ships. No one's going to want to take their ships through there. So they have to make sure that that strait is open for the oil and the other stuff that comes through there. So that's the big thing right now. But I'm still surprised that Iran has anything going for it. I think we've bombed the shit out of just about everything. So we'll see what happens this week. Should be
now
very
the
interesting.
1,000 Marines that he's talking about, are those from Fort Bragg? Is that where they train and come from, or do they come
No,
from some
no, they'd be from Pendleton or 29 Palms or somewhere. They've got
okay.
bases on both coasts. So
And how would we get them there? I mean, you said they're on the Tripoli. Are all 1,000 troops on the Tripoli right now?
probably, I think I watched a video on it, and there was like 2,500 Marines on the USS Tripoli right now. So the Navy and the Marines are a joint entity, and the Navy gives them rides wherever they need to go. So right now, those Marines are on the Tripoli and probably headed towards the Strait of Hormuz to do their thing there.
So would they have been on that ship as it went over there, or would they have flown over and got on the ship?
They would have been on that ship, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
how will they get from the ship to shore? I mean,
What I think will what will happen. What I am just guessing, I have no clue on this, is that the 82nd Airborne will be airdropped in
oh,
and
okay.
clear the way. If not the 82nd Airborne, the Marines would be dropped in probably through the Osprey, those planes that have the rotating propellers, so
Okay,
they
yeah.
can take off
Yeah,
like helicopters, and that's how they
yeah.
would get in on the Osprey or the helicopters. And now that I think about it, I'm probably the Marines would go in first. That's normally what happens, and then the Airborne probably right behind them. So, and I'm sure we've got special operators currently there right now doing what they
Yeah.
do. So,
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I know
yeah,
gas down here is over $4 a gallon now. I think it was 4.09
wow,
yesterday was a
we're at
you know
369.
really? So, yeah, it's over
Yep,
$4, and they say they don't think it'll get to 5, but they think it might go a little higher before it comes down, so
yep. but
And this
he had to come back
TSA
down.
debacle, let's talk about that just briefly. I put that on here because I read an article, and again, you know, if it's fake or not, that Elon Musk offered to pay for all the TSA, and they wouldn't let him do it. They said, "No, there's no way you're gonna," which is crazy. But uh, I've heard of people standing in line for 4 hours to get through TSA in some of the larger airports, which is crazy. But um,
The Democrats are shutting down that part of the government so they can fund illegals. Now, think about that. How can anyone support that party? So we've got American citizens working in the working for TSA that they will not fund because they want to make sure that the illegals are funded.
yeah,
It's
it's
just
not.
it's just
It's
crazy.
nuts. Yeah, the things that goes on there is just stupidity, it's all it is. I'm glad I don't have any desire to fly, I don't wanna fly, I mean, I may in the future if they straighten this out, but there's no way I wanna wait. I mean, Indianapolis probably isn't as bad as, say, you know, LaGuardia or Newark or somewhere like that or O'Hare, but, still, I wouldn't wanna wait in line that long to even go, so it's,
We're lucky up here that we use La Crosse, Madison, or Appleton. They're all very small airports, so
yeah, yeah.
we've never had to don't have to worry too much about the
But normally
lines.
you have to fly through a big airport, so, of course, then you don't have TSA you have to worry about, so that's the
Right.
thing too, but
Yep. Yep.
you wanted to talk, you said you wanted to mention something about Bob Barker. What'd you find out? What's going on with Bob? I thought he was dead.
He is dead, but, we watched a two-part documentary about him yesterday, and man, that guy was a pig. The,
Really?
uh the Barker's beauties that they interviewed, 9 lawsuits were filed against Bob Barker for sexual harassment, wrongful termination, harassment, and other things. And it was finally the second black, Barker's beauty that was on there, and I don't recall her name, was pretty much what got him to have to leave the show. For years, there was a lot of sexual harassment, and of course, Bob was screwing Diane, one of the Barker's beauties, right on the set. And he was just a pig after his wife, Dorothy Jo, had passed away. Bob turned into a real pig and a real one of these guys that you'd see on Mad Men that had no respect for women at all. And if you weren't in his court, he would get you fired one way or another. And
Really?
so a lot of the women lost their jobs. A lot of the producers lost their jobs if they didn't back Bob. And again, like I said, he finally was basically told he needed to leave the show because of after the ninth lawsuit. They said, you're costing too much money and you could actually cause The Price is Right, which was the number one game show ever in the world, to actually be kicked off the air. And the other big thing that we learned is that Bob hated blacks, absolutely despised black people. And
Really?
he had a rule that there could only be 2 blacks on the show at any one time. And they even showed some video that if a black person got up on stage, first of all, when they were called down, they wanted to have a stereotype of a black. So the only black that would be picked would be these huge black women. You know, the stereotypical people
Yeah.
is what Bob wanted to portray. And then if a black person did get up on stage, he would not let them kiss him, touch him, get near him. And they showed some video where he was actually like, don't touch me, don't touch me. He's trying to get away from this black person that's trying to give him a hug. And
Huh.
he absolutely despised black people and was just a pig towards these women. And it's a very interesting documentary. It's on E. It's 2 parts. Takes a couple of hours to watch it, but he was not the wholesome, good-looking, everyone loves him Santa Claus type of guy that he was portrayed to be. And he was a very hard guy to work with and work for. So very interesting.
So Adam Sandler had a reason to beat the shit out of him, right? And Happy Gilmore, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it was a good show. Interesting.
What about the California bishop?
Yes. Let me find that real quick here. While I'm looking for that in my pictures, Tom, Maryland, I just saw passed something where they appropriated a bill or something where are now they have to make sure that the correct size tampon is placed in men's bathrooms. The Democrats in Maryland just passed that. So
I
kind of
saw
interesting
something too
there.
that somebody's building a new stadium somewhere, and they made sure that all men's restrooms had tampon machines. I don't know where it was
What,
at, but it's a brand new
what were you
stadium.
supposed to? Where do you put them? Up your ass? I mean, where do you
Well,
put
that's the
these
only
things?
thing I'd think. If I was gonna go get one, I'd put it up my ass or something. I don't know what would you do with it? I mean, it
So
just does not make sense to me. Are they I
oh
mean, I
my
guess
god.
next they'll be putting condom machine maybe they do have condom machines in women's restrooms. I don't know. That would make sense. I suppose maybe they do. I don't know, but,
Yeah.
yeah, what's this world
So
coming
that's
to? It's ridiculous.
yeah, it's crazy. This California bishop was fired by Pope Leo after allegedly stealing $250,000 from his church and making several trips to a Mexican brothel. Sounds like my type of bishop, and his name was Bishop Emmanuel Shaleta was arrested on March 6th at the San Diego International Airport when he attempted to board a flight to Germany with over $9,000 in his bag. The 69-year-old bishop was charged with 8 counts of embezzlement, 8 counts of money laundering, and 1 count of aggravated white collar crime enhancement.
Oh
I,
god.
I always get a kick out of here's this picture. I always get a kick out of these.
Oh my god.
Little horny little bishop. Oh my
God.
god. That's hilarious.
Hey, I've been, reading this book, I think I talked to you about it before. I hold it up right here. It's, How to Test Stupid for How to Test Negative for Stupid, and it's written by my buddy Senator John Kennedy from, Louisiana, and in the book, I'll bring these up every once in a while. He's got so many, I might call him John Kennedy-isms, and, I got, I think, 4 of 'em today I'll just bring up, but in reading this book, it said one thing he says, "I'm not gonna bubble wrap it. The water in Washington, D.C. won't clear up until you get the pigs out of the creek." I mean, this guy comes up with stuff like it's crazy that he says things like that. Then he says, "I believe that we are going to have to get some new conspiracy theories. All the old ones turned out to be true." And this is a little
Yep.
longer, but, he says, he was talking about, uh, if you watch C-SPAN, he said you would see this, but most people, when senators go to Senate to give a speech, there's very few people in the audience. I mean, they're
Yeah.
basically speaking to 5 or 6 people, and he said, "Senators give speeches because they love to hear themselves talk and talk and talk. Most senators are, how should I put it, self-satisfied. They think they are brand names like Lululemon. The reality, I can't think of a single one, including myself, whose absence would cause civilization to collapse. But that doesn't change how they see themselves. Many think they should be president. Many acts like they discovered gravity. Plenty assume Americans hang on their every word. They think they could teach Jesus a few things when they get to heaven." It's true about that, right? And
You
this
know,
one
I
is
I
not
heard
nothing political, but he says, "Always follow your heart, but make sure you take your brain with you." And I thought that was I mean, a lot of people do a lot of things with their heart without really thinking about it, and that's, I thought, but anyway, this book is, I find it very interesting, and I read about a half hour a day of it, and it's just, he is uh, if you ever see him on videos on Facebook or whatever, he's just amazing, the things he says and does, and
yeah,
all
he's
that.
fun.
So it's, I enjoy him and enjoy, I mean, I don't read a lot, but I enjoy reading his book, and, um he's a guy that, I think he brings common sense to the Senate when you think about it. I mean, if you watch him interrogating some of those witnesses that come into those hearings, I mean, he just rakes them over the coals, but, he's a good American, and, one thing I've read in this book, when a lot of senators move to Washington, D.C., they take all their appropriated money they have, and they live in these lavish townhomes and all this stuff. He lives in a one-bedroom apartment in a very, very undescribed, I mean, apartment complex, so you wouldn't even think he'd live there, and he has no desire to live any differently. I mean, like he said, "I spend Monday through Thursday here, and I go home on the weekends most of the time," and he said, "I why do I need anything fancy? I don't," but,
Right.
he's just a
Yep.
down to the earth common man, and it's kinda great to see that in Washington.
Yeah, there's very few of those, and, I speaking of the politicians, a lot of these people, I don't know where I read it or who said it, they were nerds in high school or going through school or growing up or whatever, and now they get into this level of a position and they think they're God's gift to everyone. And I think you hit it on the head with what Kennedy said, that the politicians think we live and die based on what they think and say and do, and it's totally the opposite. We think they're dumbasses. So,
Yeah. I mean, he's got
yep,
3 law degrees, though if you look at him, you would not think that, yeah, he's an amazing guy. I really
yep,
appreciate him and,
one of the
respect
few
him.
good ones. Yep,
Yep.
one of the few good ones.
Well, we got a Colonel's conspiracy this week. What are we gonna talk about this week?
Yeah, I got a couple of I got a couple of them. I read years ago about the book from what's his name? I can't think of his name now. He's on Fox, Riley. But anyway, he wrote a book called Killing Patton, and there's rumors out there that Patton was actually knocked off by the U.S. government. And I saw this quote from Patton. It was July 21st, 1945, and it says, "Gentlemen, I have come this morning to the inexcusable conclusion that we have fought on the wrong side. The entire war we should have fought with the fascists against the communists and not the other way around. I fear that perhaps in 50 years America will pay a dear price and become a land of corruption and degenerate morals." And that was from Patton on July 21st, 1945. And I thought that was interesting because from the book that I read and what was said, that Patton actually after the war and how he died in that alleged car accident, that the American government was afraid of Patton and what he would do and what he would stir up when he came home after the war. So they actually had him killed right after the war. And by him saying that kind of led me to believe that, yeah, maybe because of what Patton was thinking and believing and saying, they didn't want him coming home and spreading this type of information, and so they had him killed. So I thought that was interesting. If you ever get a chance to read Killing Patton, it's a great book, and it gives some insight to how he worked and, the conspiracy theory that they wanted him knocked off. So very interesting there.
Which probably
And
makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
yeah, yeah, it does. It does. He was too much of a leader. They were scared of him. So, and then I wanted to talk real quick. I follow this site on Instagram called Longevity Guide, and these two things again, if this is true, it says China is reportedly preparing to approve Russia's new cancer vaccine, a move that could potentially disrupt the $2.6 trillion Western oncology and pharmaceutical industry. So it's I truly believe myself that there's a cure for cancer out there. And if this is
Oh,
true,
without
China
question.
is working with Russia, so we'll see what happens there. And then I wanted to, if I can find it again, there was one with Joe Rogan, and hopefully I can find it real quick here. But he was talking to a lady about the COVID conspiracies and what I've said all along. I probably won't be able to find it now. But basically, she came out and was saying how Pfizer, gosh darn it, hopefully I can find it here. But the whole ivermectin and the shots, the vaccines that were given during COVID, how what Pfizer did during that time. I probably won't be able to find it now. I should have taken a picture of it, I guess. Let me look in one
Let
other
me while you're
place.
looking for it, let me talk you mentioned cancer cure. Let me, real quick, I
There it
had a
is.
couple doctor's appointments last week and go ahead.
Go ahead, Tommy. Finish yours, and then I'll go.
Oh, I had a couple doctor's appointments last week, and I figure the older you get, and you and I have talked about this about sex and not being able to get it up and all this stuff. So I went to the doctor about my testosterone, and a nice lady, and she's talking to me about it, and she said, gave me the options that I could do, and one of them was to give myself injections before sex, and I said, I'm not going to do that. I can just imagine, in the heat of the moment, stop, and I did it before, try to shoot the head of your dick with some medicine that it's gonna get hard, but anyway, said, "Well,
Yeah.
she said, "There is a penile implant that you can put in," and I said, "You know what?" She says, "Look, it's a 30-minute non-evasive surgery," and she explained to me what they do. They put this thing in your penis, and then they put this on your waist or below your waist. They put this bag, basically, nothing big, that holds fluid, and then you gotta pump up this thing, and it takes the fluid into the whatever, and makes your penis hard. And here's what I wanna talk about. And she said, "Medicare will pay for the whole procedure." And
Wow.
I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "You're telling me that Medicare will pay for a penile implant, and I asked my regular doctor if I could have Cancer Guard, which is a blood test that says if you have any cancer in your system, and he says, "I will schedule the test, but it's $680 and Medicare does not cover it." So they
Isn't
won't
that
cover
crazy?
a procedure to find out if you have cancer, but they will cover a penile implant. Now, how ridiculous is that?
That
How
that
screwed
sums it
up
up
is
right
are
there.
we? I mean, it's
Jeez.
ridiculous.
That sums it up right there. That's a perfect example. I did
So
find what I was
let
gonna
me go
share.
before you go in to get into your thing. Let me say I got this app that comes up on my thing. And it's called Word of the Day, and I find it hilarious. And so I'm going to throw in some word. I'll do two today. I'm going to throw in some words occasionally during this podcast. And the first one today is fructose intolerant. Fructose intolerant is the condition of being completely unable to tolerate any other people's bullshit.
I like
Fructose
that.
intolerant. And the second word today is fuck a doodle doo. Fuck a doodle doo is the way you feel when you have no room left to give a fuck. But anyway, it pulls up all this stuff and it's hilarious as hell. And so I've been writing them down and I'll throw them in. But I thought we've been talking about politics and all that stuff. That kind of just
Yeah, perfect words for it.
fuck a doodle
Perfect
doo
words.
when you just don't have the ability to give a fuck anymore. I mean, it's crazy.
So I've found the other thing I wanted to share. So this is a former Pfizer vice president. His name is Dr. Mike Yeadon, Yeadon, and he is quoted as saying there was no pandemic. They lied so they could inject 5.5 billion people with an intentionally dangerous substance, which has killed over 17 million. He says in the video that he's worked for Pfizer for 16 years. There was no pandemic. Instead, flawed data was used based upon inappropriate mass ventilation, sedatives given in care homes, denying people antibiotics and bacterial pneumonia. He goes on to reveal that it was impossible to develop a vaccine in such a short period of time, which I heard many, many times. The Myrna shots were instead created many years before COVID-19 was given or was even released, making the pandemic a planned event. And I've been hearing more and more of that with some of the Epstein emails that have been coming up between him and Gates. And Yaden claims whatever was injected into people was an intentionally harmful substance to harm and reduce human fertility to lower the global population, which we've heard Gates wants to do too. I always thought it was weird too that only the elderly and the very sick were the ones that were dying in most cases. And here's why people aren't surprised. Peter Ross, the former drug marketing whistleblower, he was the whistleblower against Pfizer, claimed he worked at Pfizer for 17 years. We didn't discover drugs. We discovered markets. If a drug cured asthma in 3 days, we'd kill it. Chronic disease is where the money is. Cures are bad for business. We've heard that forever. The numbers explain everything. Pfizer earned $37 billion from vaccines and Paxlovid in 2022 alone, nearly $100 million every day. Their profit margin is 28%. Their R&D spending less than half their marketing and shareholder payouts. They don't even invent most of what made them rich. Penicillin was discovered by Alexander Fleming. Pfizer just scaled it. Insulin discovered by Canadian scientists who sold the patent for $1 to save lives. And Pfizer turned it into a $1 billion recurring subscription. Insulin costs $3 to make and sells for $300. Paxlovid costs $13, priced at $530. And EpiPens are $1 to make, and they retail for $600. It says Pfizer's real production isn't medicine, it's dependency, which, again, we're hearing more and more of. They've perfected the art of
Right.
keeping you sick enough to need them, but healthy enough to keep paying. 76 years without a single cure isn't coincidence, it's a business plan. So that stuff is starting to come out. I still have family
Well,
members that
I
get
don't know if
every
you said it
booster
in there or
shot.
not. Yeah, yeah, but, I think, again, you talk about the pandemic and COVID and all that stuff. I think that that was either the World Health Organization or whatever to kinda to deem to get rid of some of our population because we were becoming
Yeah.
overpopulated. I really believe that. I think that, and
Yep.
like you said, the older people and the people that were sick that were gonna die, they just made sure they
Yep.
did die, and that's,
Too much of a
you
cost.
know,
Yeah.
and I agree with Pfizer. I mean, EpiPen, you gotta have an EpiPen. If you have a child that's allergic to some food or something, you have to have an EpiPen. And it costs a buck and they charge you 600 bucks. So, and you probably are gonna buy
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them. So,
Yeah.
and
And they
again,
expire.
I don't think insurance covers it. I think it has to. I mean, they may cover a little bit of it, but not much of it. But, it's just
Crazy.
crazy. It's nuts the way this country is, and, some of the it's so wonderful to live in this country and the freedoms we have, but then you deal with all the bullshit, and it's kinda crazy.
I told Anna when I get cancer
I
again, I'm
wanted to,
coming straight to
talk.
her first.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to wish my daughter, Rachel, a happy birthday today. Today's her birthday, and, just to say a little bit about her, she's been a teacher for, I think 10 or 12 years now, and it's just amazing the job she does, and, the woman that she's become, we're so proud of her, and, she's getting married May the 9th, and things are going forward with that. In fact, I just talked to the caterer yesterday and about food and things like that, so we're getting closer and closer. So, um, it's important, and we talked about here a lot about family and what family means to both of us, and we know that, and how important they are. And I don't know that every person feels that way, but, I know you feel about your wife, and I certainly feel about my wife, how lucky we are to have 2 women that, are strong and independent and, can do their own thing. I didn't have it on the list, but we got a little bit of time here. I pulled out a poem that I wrote, many years ago. In fact, I think 14 years ago, about Penny, and I thought I wanted to read it today. She's just, some of the things she does, just amazing, and she takes care of me on a daily basis and deals with my bullshit and all my aches and pains, and, doesn't really complain about it at all. But, I wrote this. She's called "Solid as a Rock." A long day at the show, and I was struggling up the steps until it happened, just like that. The kiss that I so much wanted had finally come to fruition, and I cowered like a cat. Is this the right thing to do? What am I doing? Yes, this is what I want, what I need. The bickering, the fighting had taken its toll on me, and she was what I needed indeed. We didn't start out slow. We started out like a herd of buffalo running across the plain. She had been unhappy. I was unhappy. And together we were this couple that was sane. The courtship lasted a long time as I had to get my ducks in a row with the ex and my kids. I couldn't wait to introduce her to them, hoping it would flip their lids. It took a while, but they came to like her a whole lot, and I began to love her even more. We made plans that would take quite a while, but we never wavered from our chore. Married at last on the cliff in a beautiful Lake Tahoe. What a day it was. Fantastic for both of us. No big deal, just the two of us, the preacher, his daughter, the photographer. No big fuss. That was almost 36 years ago, and I have never once been regretful of our plan. She has been my rock, my best friend, my lover, my partner, made me a better man. It hasn't always been gleeful and a bowl of cherries every day. We've had our rough spots, our disagreements that have made me pray that I would never lose her. I couldn't go on without her, and she is my everything. So glad I'm off the road and able to spend every night listening to her sing. Not real romantic. In fact, she sounds like an old grizzly bear as she sleeps. As I finally fall asleep, I know for a fact that she is mine for keeps. These have been fantastic years, and we have accomplished a whole lot of our plans, and we have many, many more years together to cross off more of the bucket list demands. I love her more than anything you can love, anything or anyone, more and more each day. She is my rock, my partner, my best friend, and lover forever and ever, I pray. And, it's kind of good to go back and find those things that you wrote years ago. And it's amazing that Penny has a box in her closet, and I've been wanting to throw it away. We've moved 8 times. Every time we move, I wanna throw it away, but it's letters, cards, and notes that I gave her when we were dating or together, and, love letters, basically. And I'm just so lucky to have a woman that finally found a woman that, that satisfies my every need. And as older I get, I don't want to. I'm so thankful that I have her because I know she's going to take care of me no matter what. And I know you feel the same about Jill. And not only that, we've talked before this podcast. I mean, we are so fortunate to have you two as friends, and and now I'm going to get emotional, but we really respect you guys, and this podcast has been good for me, and I hope it's been good for you, not only. And I hope our listeners understand that here's two best friends that don't get to talk to each other, every day, and once a week we get to sit here and bullshit and talk about our families and politics and sports and all their kinds of bullshit. And it's just great that we have this opportunity to do that. And I certainly didn't mean to get emotional today, but I thought it was a good day, not only to talk about Rachel's birthday and the wedding coming up, but our spouses and what they mean to us. And I know you have some comments on that as well.
Yeah, first of all, happy birthday to Rachel. But yeah, I'm so blessed to have Jill, and June 4th to be 38 years for her and me being together. And as far as this podcast, Tommy, it's amazing how during the week I'll jot down a couple of things and then email or text it to you, and you always put together the list. And I always think, well, maybe we don't have lot to talk about this week, but we go for an hour or an hour plus every week. And I think what's so cool is that before we started doing this podcast, we would talk to each other, once every other month, maybe if we were, calling each other or whatever. And now we're talking once a week for over an hour, and I love it. And it warms my heart, and to have you as a friend. I wish you were closer. I wish we lived 10 minutes apart so we could do a Friday night fish fry and some other things
That'd be
together,
great.
watch some basketball games or whatnot. But we'll make it a point. Obviously, we'll be down there in May, and hopefully you guys can get up this way maybe this summer. And I absolutely love seeing you every week, and we miss you and Penny. But just knowing that you're there and that we have this friendship is wonderful. And we appreciate the both of you and your family more than you know. So we love you guys, and this has been a blessing to me also. So thank you for doing this.
Somebody said something
Absolutely.
the other day, and and I think we talked about this before, but it's amazing that you have friends that, and we see each other every week. We talk to each other. We don't see each other, but it's amazing you have friends that you may not see for 2 or 3 years, and when you run into them, it's like you talked to him yesterday. It's just, it's great, and we all have friends like that. I know that, but it's just great to have friendships like that. And I picked the phone and called somebody the other day that I hadn't talked to probably in a year, and we started talking like we talked last week. It's just amazing to be able to have the opportunity to have that. And I can't imagine living life with not having that. And I'm sure there's people that are like that maybe don't want friends or don't get along with their family and things like that. But it's just I find it amazing, and the older you get, I think you appreciate it more, and it's just
Yep.
amazing. And I
Yep.
I wish we lived closer too. I mean, we do a lot of stuff with our friends here, and we certainly enjoy that. And but it's been great doing this podcast. I did want to bring up, and you brought it up too, and we're at 49 minutes right now. But I had two comments. Uh, they wasn't questions, but one was text to me and one was asked to me. But one is that they think our podcast goes too long. That when they're listening to the podcast, they can listen to 30 to 40 minutes, but an hour to an hour and 5 minutes maybe too long. And I thought about that, and maybe we can. And today we could have been done at 35 minutes, and we went on. I mean, we just kept talking and talking, but if we really tried, we probably could. And I don't know that that's important to do that. I think if anybody's going to listen to us, they're going to listen to us the whole time. And the other was to talk more national sports than local sports. And here's my comment to them. We both live locally. We both love sports and high school sports particularly, and that's why we talk about that. And the majority of our listeners are people within our region. So those are people that want to hear that. People outside of the region probably don't want to hear that. And maybe we do spend too much time on local sports sometimes, but And I told him we'd think about that. I think we have to tweak this thing as we go along and, get it to the point where, maybe and we don't have any sponsors. We just have, pick sponsors that we want to talk to people about. And actually
Yeah.
we passed over your second sponsor. I look now, we didn't even talk about it, but,
We can get him. We'll get him next week.
I
We'll
think
get
we
him
can
next week.
tweak it a little bit. Yeah, I think we can tweak it a little bit and you try to bring in new things every once in a while because I mean, I don't know how many people actually listen to it. I don't know. I think there's quite a few people. I know there's a lot of people that religiously tune in every week and listen to it.
Yeah.
And, there's
Well,
several people down here that do that. I don't so when I say several, I don't know if it's 100 or if it's 50 or if it's 20, but and I think there's several people up there that tunes in every week and listens to it. And they kinda just wait till on Facebook when you post and say, "Hey, the podcast is ready," and I know Rachel listens to it every week. She listens to it on the way home from school, and, um, I think Penny listens to it on the way home from work and stuff, and so, uh, usually if I say anything about either one of them, I make sure they listen to it, so I tell them to make sure you listen to the podcast, but, the other day, last week, we were babysitting, we had the kids, and, I don't know, I think Rachel's outside Ayla was outside playing, so I just pulled up YouTube, and it was when our podcast just got done, so I pulled us up on the big TV on YouTube, and there you and I are sitting like this talking, and so,
yeah.
Dacia, our youngest granddaughter, came in, and of course, "Papa, Papa, are you on TV? Papa, look," and I said, "Yeah, look at Papa on TV." I mean, it's just, and it's amazing we can do that. I mean,
Mhm.
I never thought I'd be on TV at any time, whether it's on a YouTube podcast or anything, but when you see your big face up there on TV, you go, "What the hell is this?" I mean, that we're able to do this. It's just crazy that,
And
you know
and we said it before, Tommy, that when we're long gone, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren can pull up that video, however it's going to be streamed or whatever they do then at that time and see
Right,
us. So it's kinda cool.
right.
Yep. Good stuff. Definitely.
I'm not good on Twitter at all. I don't really know how to correspond on Twitter, but, I did send a, comment back to, the one guy that's on, Pat McAfee show, the Yankee fan. What the hell's his name? The Green Bay Packer fan.
Oh, yeah. I
God, I
know who
can't
you're
think of his
talking about.
name right now. But anyway, I just t tech went sent him a thing and said, "Check out the Colonel Mr. Big podcast." That's all I said. And shit like that. You don't know. Maybe somebody's just, "Well, what is this?" "Let's listen to this," and you never know. I mean, again, we've never wanted to get big, but, it would be kinda cool to, for somebody to say, "Hey, we want you guys to listen to this Colonel Mr. Big podcast." It's,
Yeah.
'cause
We
I
watch a
think
lot of
again
I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna say, we watch a lot of influencers that start the same way, very small. They don't think anything's gonna take off, and then all of a sudden something hits and it goes viral, and the next thing you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
people are listening. So,
And it's very I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and and most of the sports podcasts are just talking heads just up there rattling off their opinions and all this stuff, and that's basically what we do here. I think the uniqueness of this, and I'm not saying nobody else does it, but it's just that it's 2 old guys, friends, that normally don't see each other, sitting around on a weekly basis talking about what happened the week before and the politics that's going on in the country and talk about family and those type of things. And I just think it's a down to earth podcast that, I think people would enjoy if they listened to it.
too. I do too.
But anyway, we did cut off a little bit of time this week, but, I'm glad we were able to do this. The way I felt, when we were gonna do it the other day, Tuesday morning, I didn't know if we'd get this thing done this week or not, but, uh, I'm feeling a lot better, and hopefully you'll feel a lot better, and, uh, go Boilers tonight, 7 o'clock on CBS, against Texas. They're playing one of their guys transferred from Purdue to Texas, Cam Heide. He's on the Texas team that hit the winning shot last week. So it'll be a good game, and, next week or whenever we come back, we can talk about that. We might wanna wait. I don't know what your schedule looks like next week, but we might wanna wait till Monday till after the tournament's over, Sweet 16 is over, then we can talk about it.
Yeah,
You can
we
check
can
your
definitely
schedule and
look at
see.
that.
I do have an appointment Monday at, I think at 8:40 that No, Monday's the 30th, isn't it? Yeah, I don't have anything the 30th. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So,
I'll
we
look
can
at
talk
mine
about
and
that
let
as
you
we
know.
go forward, but,
Yep.
feel
That
better,
sounds
tell Jill
good.
we said hello, and, we love you guys.
Love you too. I can't get up till this is definitely off because I'm sitting in my underwear today, Tommy. So
Well, really? I'm not sitting in anything. I just got my Purdue top on. I just got my schlongs well, it's not hanging down. It's kinda just touching the seat here as I sit. I'm almost ready to sit on it, so all right, buddy.
have
I'll
a
talk
great
to you next
week.
week. Take
You
care.
betcha. Bye bye.
Bye.